everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I hope that you guys are doing well and enjoying your Sunday. It is a pretty nice warm Sunday here. We're supposed to have some really cold days coming up soon, so I am enjoying the warmer weather. It's still only like about 60. I think the high is about 68 or 69 today, but it's pretty warm in the sunshine. And there's no wind or anything, or at least there wasn't when I was outside. I don't know about right now because then actually I just see the trees moving, so there is a breeze. But I decided to hop on here since I'm feeling better today than I have been in a while. And then I had a really bad gallbladder attack on Friday night. And it was really horrible to the point where I was sick all day yesterday. And I'm assuming it was a gallbladder attack because I have no other symptoms, like flu symptoms or any of that stuff. I didn't have any fevers, any chills, anything like that. It was more just excruciating pain in my stomach and on the right side where my gallbladder is. And I've had this happen to me before, way back in, it's been a few years. As a matter of fact, I did a video, I think recently, where I kind of talked about this, but it hasn't been edited or put together, and I don't know if it even, how it came out. So I may or may not put that up. So if anything, I'll just kind of share a little bit about that whole gallbladder issue later in this video. But for now, I wanted to share a little bit more from the Artist's Way. I have a video that should be coming up pretty soon that I shared a bit about this already. So I did share the introduction, and so now I'm going to go through the next chapter, which is called Spiritual Electricity, the Basic Principles. So one thing I wrote here, just after reading, and the first time I read this, I wrote on a sticky notes, our gifts are from God. Pray for Him to reveal those gifts, and then allow the Holy Spirit to guide your mind, body, spirit, in glorifying God through those gifts. And it's really interesting because today, I've shared before that I'm still kind of backdating through my journal. And so I was actually on day October 9th right now, but I was just doing October 8th of the forgiveness prompts. Actually, was it that one? So it wasn't for the forgiveness prompts. It was the Coffee and Bible Time October prayer calendar. Today was the day that I did was day 8. And it was on serving, and it was 1 Peter 4:10. Which says, as each one has received some spiritual gift, he should use it to serve others like good managers of God's many-sided grace. And, so part of what my prayer is to learn how to use the gifts that God has given me to glorify Him and to reach other people for Him, to encourage others, to inspire others, and, just kind of make connections and strengthen relationships not only with other people but also with the Lord. So here in this first part of the chapter, she says, for most of us, the idea that the Creator encourages creativity is a radical thought. We tend to think, or at least fear, that creative dreams are egotistical, something that God wouldn't approve for us. And I think that there's some truth in there, and what I mean by that is that if we take it to a level where it's all about us and it's all about our talents, and we get offended if somebody doesn't like what we're doing, or we expect something back from God or from other people just because we are giving of our talents and our gifts that He has given us, that's when it becomes egotistical. It becomes that part where everything we do, everything we feel is reliant upon how our gift is received. So what she's talking about, like, this is mainly, about art, right? Being an artist. And so creating something and then expecting other people to almost like worship it and worship you because you did it so well, that's where the problems start. And I think that's a big fear, and it's a really hard situation to be in, because how do you use your gifts and not get to that point where they become a look at me, and look how good I am, and all of that stuff? Like, we need to keep our focus on the Lord, and we need to remember that nothing that we do is without Him. Any gift that we have, any talent that we have, is only because He has given it to us. Let's see. Here on the next, right on the next page, it says, "A higher hand than just my own engages us. Christ said, wherever two or more are gathered together, there I am in your midst." And just to think, the creator of all things is with us and has given us gifts to do things. And it just amazes me sometimes to think of the things that He has endowed upon us that we can use. And if we use them for His glorification, so much better, right? It's just amazing. And then, she just talks about ways that we can just jump into this creativity. She says, creativity is an experience. To my eye, a spiritual experience. It does not matter which way you think of it. Creativity leading to spirituality, or spirituality leading to creativity. It's just something that I love about being able to sit out in nature and just seeing all the wonderful, amazing things that God has created. Just the intricate design of a leaf. And now that I can look out my window here and the leaves are changing color still, and there's some already yellow and some are still green with a little bit yellow on the edges, and then you just see that vein, the veins of the leaf, and just how amazing everything is made, and how He just set everything in motion. It makes me want to be creative in some form or fashion. And here are some basic principles that she shares. Number 1 is creativity is the natural order of life. Life is energy, pure creative energy. Number 2, there is an underlying, indwelling creative force infusing all of life, including ourselves. Number 3, when we open ourselves to our creativity, we open ourselves to the Creator's creativity within us and our lives. Number 4, we are ourselves creations, and we in turn are meant to continue creativity by being creative ourselves. Number 5, creativity is God's gift to us. Using our creativity is our gift back to God. Number 6, the refusal to be creative is self-will and is counter to our true nature. Number 7, when we open ourselves to exploring our creativity, we open ourselves to God, good orderly direction. Number 8, as we open our creative channel to the Creator, many gentle but powerful changes are to be expected. Number 9, it is safe to open ourselves up to greater and greater creativity. Number 10, our creative dreams and yearnings come from a divine source. As we move toward our dreams, we move toward our divinity. That part, me personally, I cross that off and put, we move closer to Elohim, to God. Because I'm not of the mind that we in ourselves we're divine creatures, because no, we have the Holy Spirit living within us, but that doesn't make us divine or any form of a godlike creature in that respect. So that's some of the parts that I'm just like, I don't know, but it's something that I could just, cross out myself and be like, no, move closer to God. So if I use creativity, it can get me closer and closer to God. And really, what I noticed, and I don't know why other people create, why they like to do the things that they do, but for me, it's become a part of my healing. A big, huge problem that I've always had is stuffing everything down. All my emotions, all my issues, everything I want to say, because I'm afraid to hurt someone's feelings or stand up for myself, advocate for myself. I don't know how to do any of those things correctly. And I get really agitated inside, and almost to a point where I shut down and I just can't say anything at all or do anything at all. It's a really bad anxiety-like thing for me. I've struggled with it all my life. And I'm learning more, I guess, learning more about myself as I get older. And since I started therapy, which I've been in therapy for probably 10 years. Well, give or take that long, because I started off with one person, and I really liked the therapist I had at the time. He was really good, but I wasn't ready for that. It was just like everything I heard was therapies for people, like other people, not for me. I don't need that. I should leave that open for somebody else. Yeah, I could do this on my own. That was my thought process. And because it was embarrassing, and someone's going to find out I'm in therapy, and then they're going to be like, well, what's wrong with her? And, it's that same rhetoric we hear about how we don't need anybody else ever. Do it all yourself. You are capable. You can do everything on your own. You could fix your situation. You could do this on your own. You don't need anybody else. And so when we believe that, we tend to stay away from God as well, because, well, I can fix it myself, right? And that's the big struggle I've had in my life, is like, I believed completely 100% in who God was, in the Bible, in Jesus, and everything, since I was a very, very tiny child. Before I even could read the Bible on my own, and all of that. And as I got older, that I began to learn how to read really well, and I loved to read. I just devoured the book and Revelation was the first thing I read, and I was so excited about it. After I read that, I want to read the whole thing. Okay, but even with that, in that love for God, and that love for his word, and that love for Messiah, and the knowledge that I was saved through him, and that he sent his son so that I could be saved if I would just accept the gift of salvation, and that sacrifice and all that it meant, and everything, and that hope of eternity with him, I still struggle. I still struggle now with the need to do everything on my own. It's like, I know I need God, and I know that I can't do anything outside of him. I know that everything I do outside of him, and everything I try to do on my own, never works correctly. It always messes up. Something always happens, and either it just is way harder than it should have been to get there, or it's just not what it could be, because I decided that I'll do it on my own. I don't need him. And a lot of the times, it's not even, for me anyway, personally, it's not even like me thinking I don't need God or other people. It's more, I don't want to be a burden to God or other people. He has more important things to take care of. There's people who have worse things going on in their lives that he needs to take care of. And the dumb thing for me is that I know he's omnipotent, he's omnipresent, he is capable of everything and anything all at one time. And if he's capable of creating all the things the way he created them, keep everything all going and everything in motion, and just set it up in such a way that it just works, then why do I continue wanting to do things on my own? Why do I continue wanting to create things on my own? Create this idea of, I can fix this, and I can fix my body, and I can fix that, and I can fix you, and I can help you, and me. It's like this, it's idolatry. It's being a control freak, because for some reason I either felt out of control, and which I think that is a big part of it, and I think that that stems from just a lot of things that have gone on in my life, and I I know that we all have like these issues with maybe sharing feelings or feeling feelings or crying or whatever, and I think that is a big part of this whole creative process for me, because I never would allow myself to be creative when I was younger. Um, I was embarrassed to share anything that I would put together, like draw something or um, anything that I put together at school, anything I would do, even as I grew up. Like I love to write, but everything I would write stories, I got rid of so much stuff because I didn't want somebody to read it. It'd be embarrassing. Then they'll know things. They'll know me. They'll know what I think. Or they'll just make fun of it. And I can't, I couldn't handle that. I'm a little bit better about that now. But still, it's really hard for me to be able to share things. That's one thing this channel has done for me. It's helped me through that. And I think that's why I finally have stuck to it and finally did it. It took me many, 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 many years. Because if you look at my husband's channel, because that was my original YouTube Gmail thing, right? I had connected those two together. And so I started using YouTube then, watching things or whatever. So I did have a channel. Never used it really. I put some things on there that were journaling things, I think, at one point, but I put them there, but they were unlisted and they were only for a group that I was in on Facebook. And that was years ago. I'm not even sure if I go back there, it looks like that channel should be there for like the last 10 years, maybe longer. And in reality, his channel he started his channel back in November of last year. I started this one in this year sometime. I think it was in January, I think. But I wanted to do this for a long time. But I thought, it's going to be too hard to share these things because this is creativity. This is being creative. This is sitting down and coming up with whatever ideas or just sharing things. It's like a little TV show, sort of. It's in. I thought, there's no way I could do this. And then, there was a time where I did a lot of sewing. And, when I read this book, I thought, oh, I used to sew and I used to love it. Me and my mom did a lot of that together. And we did, I am so itchy. Hold on. I don't know if it's part to do with the gallbladder attack I had, because I know you can cause itchiness and stuff, or I don't know. It's the drier weather, maybe. I have no idea. But I started it. I'd gotten a sewing machine when me and my husband had been married. I think it was my anniversary gift from him when we lived. We may have been married for about 5 years or so at that time. I didn't actually open it and take it, like, to use it until 2017, 16. I'm not sure. I'd have to look back at Facebook to see when, but I had already had it for a good few years, because at least a good 5 years that I had it in a box. And one day I had taken vacation, and one day I decided, you know what, I'm going to pull this out and I'm going to figure out how to use it. Problem was, I lost the book in the move. So I just kind of put it together and I said, I could just figure this out. And that's what I do anyway. I don't ever read an instruction book. But I put it together and I used it, and I started making these little pillows. I made one about this big, just a little tiny one. As a matter of fact, I think my sister Jermaine probably still, if she still has it, I don't know, but she had my first little tiny pillow she wanted, the first one I made. And then my sister Swan got another one, like the second one I made. And then I just made a whole bunch of pillows. And some of them were, I wrote scripture on the outside of them. Some of them were sports related pillows, like my dad wanted some. He's a Steelers fan, so I made him some of those. I think I made my father-in-law the Rams ones. My husband had Broncos ones. I had made myself Raiders pillowcases, and then I think I gave them away or traded them for an art piece, or I don't know, something. But I made a lot of different pillows, and I with my mom's help. And then we also, between me and her, we made some skirts. We made oh, ground just moved and moved everything. We made curtains. We made my niece a really cute, I think it was a Minnie Mouse blanket when she was really little. She's 12 now, so we made it when she was a year old or so, something like that. But that was me, my mom, and my grandma actually did that together. I have a picture somewhere of that. So, it was all this fun stuff. But then I get like, it gets harder. Like I do all these things and I want to do this other stuff, and it's a little harder, and my ADHD brain just wants to like move on to the next thing. This is too much. I don't want to do this anymore. It's boring. But now I'm sitting here and like, oh, I love sewing. I remember it was so fun. And like, I'd love to do that again and all this stuff. And so I read this book and I'm like, I had all these great memories of all that stuff. And I was able to bless people with some of the stuff that I created. I gave some stuff away to people. And just like, it was fun during the ladies' Bible class that I taught when I think I was in my 30s at the time. I was still working. We would do these like gift baskets, sort of. All of us, which basically the ladies in my class were me, my mom, my grandma. One of my sisters, whenever she was living here, living in our hometown at the time, she would go. And if my other sister was in town, she would go. And then my niece. And who else would go? There was a couple of my friends from one that I met at work, and then just like whoever, cousins. There's a lot of people like that. And there was a few people from, the church group that I was attending at the time that went. Anyway, we would all bring in something that we'd want to give to someone, and we'd create this little basket. A lot of times I would make something, and at the time, I think I was selling Avon at the time. I think my mom had stopped and I was selling Avon, so I'd buy like Avon stuff with whatever credit I had from people ordering, and we'd make them a little gift basket and give them away to people who were going through some kind of, issue, or just because it was someone that came to mind, and somebody had like a family member or a friend they just wanted to bless them. So we did stuff like that a lot, and we would just deliver these baskets. And I think we did some giveaways as well, and I did sell a few that we put together, and whatever we would sell, we would make the other basket to give away, and it was fun. It was like, it was like a blessing of an experience to be able to create things with my family and then give things away to people and just see the joy that it brought somebody, and just to see how God works through our creativity. And so that's why I really wanted to start this book again, and just kind of, just see where this creativity takes me. Is it going to be through painting, watercoloring, and doing the Bible journaling and all that stuff, which I think it will be partially that anyway, because I've been wanting to get my paints out again. And as far as that goes, I'll probably never do anything with that. It's just for me. It's just for that time in the presence of the Lord, and just to sit with Him, and whatever I'm feeling, whatever I'm seeing. And sometimes I just pray, and I, or if I'm reading something in the Word, and however I envision it, I just try to paint it on the paper, and it just calms my spirit and gives me that sense of peace and just joy in His presence. So Now, when she shares here later about some tasks that she's going to give. Let me see which one she's talking about here. But she says, in choosing which half of the task to do, use 2 guidelines. Pick those that appeal to you and those you strongly resist. Leave the more neutral ones for later. Just remember in choosing that we often resist what we most need. So the tasks are the ones that are at the end of every chapter. So like the exercise in each week are critical. So are the morning pages and the art estate. And you'll know, she'll talk more about that. I'll share that in the next chapter. But, I think that'll be fun to do these tasks and just kind of see what they're all about. And this is another thing that I underlined. There is no such thing as being done with an artistic life. Frustrations and rewards exist at all levels on the path. Our aim here is to find the trail, establish our footing, and begin the climb. The creative vistas that open will quickly excite you. We have great ideas, wonderful dreams, but are unable to actualize them for ourselves and that's me. Like I have this great idea in my head and then I can't seem to get it out onto paper, whether it's writing a story or whatever, or sewing something, or I want to learn how to crochet and I tried that and I made a big tangled mess and then I gave up. So maybe I'll try it again. And then the next thing I underlined was each of us is complex and highly individual, yet there are common recognizable denominators to the creative recovery process. So, we're going to find a lot of things that we say to ourselves that we need to, turn that around, turn it to a positive thing. And it's about just, I think for me anyway, it's about getting to know myself and getting to know what I love. And because I shied away from that for a very, very long time. And I never allowed myself to really become that person that God created me to be, because I was too busy trying to people please, too busy trying to be a certain way for other people, to hide who I really was. And a lot of that probably was because I was trying to deal with all the things that were happening inside my body, not feeling well, and then just like having, all these ADHD and all these things going on. I tried to, I guess, mask it all or something. I don't know. So I'm trying to learn how to just accept these things, and so I can work with them and not be hindered by them. There's a few more things on this chapter. Let's see. When we engage in creativity recovery, we enter into a withdrawal process from life as we know it. Withdrawal is another way of saying detachment or non-attachment, which is emblematic of consistent work with any meditation practice. So I really like that idea of detaching from the things that maybe are cluttering up our minds and our time, and just meditating on something that is a God-given gift. Just time in his presence, time alone with him, just using that time, whatever that is, in the creative process to glorify him through whatever I'm doing. And this is getting to be a long video already. It's already 30 minutes long. So I think I will stop there, and then I will share the rest of this chapter in the next video, and kind of maybe some of the next few things in the chapter called the basic tools. And that one has quite a bit of things in there to share that I've underlined and written in and everything. The only chapter, I never started week 1. I looked at it and I was like, an artist date and all this stuff. And I thought, I want to do this. There's even a contract to sign. and I'll share that in the next video as well. So if you guys want to join along, even if you don't get the book, but you want to join along in the creative process, whether that be through your YouTube channel if you have one, journaling, Bible journaling, painting, building things, whatever things that you love to do. God gave you a gift. Use it to glorify Him and to grow closer to Him, to encourage and inspire other people. And I hope that you guys have a wonderful rest of your Saturday, and I'll see you guys in the next one. God bless you. Bye.